Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kervison, joined with Reed Bacon. Got another great one today. We are talking SEC gossip. Jimbo and Nick Saban going at each other. Possibility of pods in the SEC instead of divisions. But we also touch on Tennessee stuff. Josiah Jordan-James deciding to come back. Great for Rick Barnes and the team. Tennessee baseball in the year with a sweep versus Mississippi State, and Evan Russell getting that tying that all-time record of home runs. But before we get into any of that, you guys, please, I very much appreciate all that you've done for us so far, all the listens, the views, but please keep it up. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Follow us on all the listening platforms. Rate us there too. Share with your friends and family. It helps us so much. So very much appreciate you guys. And yeah, y'all are the best. So let's jump into it.
The game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir-ree. No, sir-ree. Final score, Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down at the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Kent, touchdown on play number 1.
All right. So before we jump into the podcast, shout out our number one sponsor, betonline.ag. If you're wanting to go anywhere to bet, this is the place. It's the number one source for all the best odds, the stats, everything that comes with it. They've got stuff on the NBA playoffs going on. They've got stuff on MLB. They have golf. They have fighting. They have even casino. So everything you could think of, this is the place to go. It's the best place to bet, and it makes everything more exciting when you do it. So hop on over there. When you do go over there, it's super easy to get started. You can use your mobile device, or you can go on their website and use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, when you sign up, and you receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So awesome, free money. So why not use BELIEVE as your little code when you go there? Tell them that we sent you. So head on over. Again, that's BLEAV. Promo code to get that 50% welcome bonus. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, welcome in, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend, a fantastic Wednesday. We have a lot of gossip and bickering and back and forth in the SEC. But before we get into all that, Reed, how we doing, bud?
How we doing, bud? I'm doing well. So as you can see, I got some new background material. I took that photo right there. No problem. So I am officially in Naples, Florida. The slogan for summer 2022 is nipples out for Naples. So, Ariel has her.
You might be the only one to follow that rule.
So Ariel has her new nursing travel contract, and it starts this Monday. So we're recording on Sunday. And so, yeah, we drove down. We drove halfway Friday night, stayed in Tifton, Georgia with a bunch of friggin' Georgia Bulldog losers. And then we finished our way driving down here to Naples. And so we're in a hotel for 3 days. And then we get the house that we rented for. We got a house that we rented for 2 months while we're down here. But yeah, this is a good little home suite. It's like one of those like home suites or resident inn type where you got your refrigerator, dishwasher, a full refrigerator. So it's nice to have for a couple of days. But I'm doing well. Pretty tired this weekend because a lot of driving and getting set up and all that.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but we got in last night, got some stuff settled, and I just absolutely crushed this seafood place because I love seafood, and I eat seafood a decent amount in Knoxville. But like when you're in a place,
Yeah,
like in Florida or on the coast somewhere, it just hits different. So last night I got this all for me: shrimp cocktail, dozen oysters, lobster bisque. And then they had a special lobster tail, and I got that with au gratin potatoes and spinach last night, and like just smacked it, bro, and finished it up with some Ben & Jerry's chocolate fudge brownie.
That's that fat boy. That's that bacon fat boy.
And it was incredible. Yeah, so I'm doing well. How are you doing? How's your weekend?
Not too bad. I wouldn't say that eventful, but it's been good. Work has been picking up recently, so it's sometimes nice to just like sit down and not do anything, like veg a little bit, which is what I enjoy most about the weekends, because like from 5:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, I'm doing something. So it's just like, all right, weekends, I just get to sit on the couch, watch whatever I want, not have to worry about it. And then my big responsibility on the weekends is this podcast. So
yeah, no, listen, bro, I'm there. It's funny. Like I feel like a lot of our listeners probably feel the same way. It's like a couple weekends in a row, like out traveling, visiting family, doing stuff. A lot of our listeners that have kids, like, if they're out doing sporting events, and stuff like that, then you get that 1 week and you're like, bro, all day Saturday, I don't want to do anything.
No.
For me, Sunday after church, I want to go eat and like took a 3-hour nap. Because usually on Sundays I do take a good 2-3 hour nap. But
I've been messing that up for you.
Yeah, today I wasn't allowed to do that. So
I'll tell you what, and honestly, like I noticed because we do this on the weekends, how much more free time I have when it's not the fall. Like when it's the fall and it's like, well, I have to spend 3 hours on Saturday watching this game.
Which, listen, that's not a problem. We enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I very much enjoy it.
Yeah.
I also need to spend 3 hours watching a Titans game too. So it's like on Sundays. So there's like 6 hours of my weekend that are just like automatically gone every weekend in the fall, which is kind of
watching the film.
Yeah, rewatching. Yes, exactly. Prepping for the podcast. This is what happens when you try and have a beer every single episode. You spill once in a while.
I didn't call you out.
I just did. But
how'd you spill so much of it? Or did you
come prepared. It was just underneath my foot, and I kicked it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought because you looked funny, like you look like when you're taking that sip, like you dropped some of it, and I was going to make fun of you, like for spilling.
Oh no, I did. Beer. I did. You should have made fun of me for it. I did. I tried to get away with it.
And then you set it down and then kicked it?
Yeah, man. I'm all over it today.
What a freaking dumbass. You're drunk.
Hey, everyone's human, okay, Reggie?
You're freaking drunk as a freaking skunk.
I know, bro. I'm hammered. I'm freaking hammered.
All right. Let me go ahead and just tell the people what we're going to be talking about today while you clean up your mess like a child. So we're going to talk about Jimbo and Nico and their little feud. We're going to talk about baseball absolutely bending Mississippi State over that freaking cowbell and just absolutely whipping them. And then we're going to talk about Josiah Jordan James coming back. And then what was the last thing we were going to talk about? Our golf game?
Possible pods in the SEC instead of divisions.
Right, exactly. So, yes, I am ready to go. I can go ahead and start talking a little bit about the Jimbo and Nick Saban. I think pretty much anybody that watches this knows what happened with Jimbo and Nick.
So started out with Nick getting in front of his boosters. And I guess, kind of like our the Tennessee version of like quarterback club or
Big Orange Caravan.
Big Orange Caravan, or like what's the Wednesday night thing that the head coach always does at Calhoun's?
Ball calls.
Ball calls. That's it. Yeah. So like a version of that is what Nick Saban's on. And he goes on there and says the little quote, I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. We didn't buy one player, all right? But I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it. It's tough. So let's start with Nick. What are your thoughts on him just blatantly saying it out loud and just being like, hey, they paid for him, like, this is what's happening? What with your head?
First off, my favorite thing in the whole thing was Nate Oates just sitting there, like, just listening. And, he was probably like, oh boy, this should be
just
good.
Like, Nick, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But Nate Oates, if you're the basketball coach there, or the athletic director, you're always going to get your guy. Like, if you're an Alabama fan, you got Saban's back. If you're a Texas A&M fan, so like as Tennessee fans, we can come from it from a side angle. But for me, like, in a way, like, I was happy that Nick called him out. We all said the same thing. We said, you and I said it. Everyone in America thought Texas A&M bought those players. There's no way someone could convince me different that they did not set up NIL deals for all these players. Mm-hmm. That's just what I believe. Like, and Jimbo to come out and be like, I've never cheated, I've never done any of this. Like, I've never liked Jimbo, and he just looks like he's a liar. Like, he looks like he's just trying to BS you, all that. Now, I don't know anyone that's worked for him. So, out of the people that I know that are in college, coaching or whatever, I don't know anyone that's worked for him. So I really don't know. Like, I've never had anyone be like, yeah, he is a good guy or he is a cheater. I don't care. Like, that's just me, my vibe of him. But in a way, like, I'm happy what Nick said, because, like, instead of being super PC or coming out and saying it without saying Texas A&M's name, so it's like we all would know who he's talking about, but he didn't just, like, he did the coach speak. So I like that he didn't do the coach speak and he just said, hey, Texas A&M did this. Now, what the funny part about it is like, I do know people that played for Saban, and I have been around the Alabama program, and I saw a very funny tweet that someone said all them Alabama players out here driving Hellcats and Challengers, and it's true. Like, when I was down in Alabama, did I ever see someone be given money or anything? No. But I obviously saw the players and were around the players and saw them driving nicer cars. They always had, like, nicer things, like, so, and there were some stuff coming out about some of those guys getting suits for autographs and all that stuff, but it got swept under the rug really quickly. So I'm glad Saban didn't coach speak and actually called him out. I think it's funny because he cheats as well, but I respect Saban because he hasn't got caught yet. But the reason I respect Saban is because not only if he buys his players, okay, that's one thing, but he wins with them. It's not like Kentucky basketball where they can maybe get all these one and dones, or Duke basketball, they get all these one and dones, but they don't win the tournament every year. Hell, there's been a couple of years lately Kentucky didn't even make the NCAA tournament. Yeah. So it's like, at least Saban is the GOAT. Like, on the field, he is still the GOAT. Like, he still wins the most.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm glad that he said that, and I think it's funny because we all know he cheats as well, and he probably is crying a little bit because he's worried about people coming after him or people being able to compete with his recruiting.
I agree with some of the things you said. I like the fact that it wasn't coach speak. I always like when coaches are more real about stuff. So that in general, I like more. It's just so funny because, like, this is 2 5-year-olds that got their feelings hurt. Like, that's literally what it is. It's so funny to, like, really just zoom out and look at it. This is Saban being upset that he didn't have the number 1 recruiting class, and Texas A&M did, and he's mad that he got second and not first. Because let's be honest, like, Nick Saban is a competitive freak. That's the reason why he wins so much. Like, he has a mental issue of competitiveness in his brain. Like, that is the most important thing to him in the world, is to be the first, be number 1. So that's why he's upset. Yeah, you ain't first, you're last. So that's why he's upset. So he goes out there.
Hold on.
What?
I love it, Ricky Poppy, when he meets his dad later in life. And he goes, hell, son, that's crazy. He's like, you come in second, third, hell, even fourth. And Ricky's like, I lived my whole life based on that.
Yeah. He was like, hell, son, I was drunk and high when I said that.
I love it. Yeah, he goes, I was drunk and high when I said, hell, you come in second, third, even fourth.
Hell, even fourth. So that, and what he was saying is like a little bit of like a poke the bear to Jimbo, but I wouldn't say it's like a complete insult to Jimbo. I think Jimbo took it as an insult because he's like, hey, you can't recruit these guys. Like, there's no way these guys would come to your school unless you set up these NIL deals for them. And Jimbo was like, well, he's doing it legally. NIL is legal. He can do that all he wants. Like, there's really not an issue with Nick Saban saying this. He's not saying like, hey, you're paying these guys under the table. That's why they're coming. He's like, you're paying it with NIL. Jimbo took it as like, you're challenging my recruiting by saying the only reason they came here was money, while I know that the only reason certain guys came to your school is because of money, because Jimbo worked with him at LSU. So Jimbo knows what Saban has done in the past. He's been a part of it. So no one's hands are clean in this. But I think what Saban was really doing, and because you have to think about where is he? He's at the vol calls. He's at the quarterback club. He's at the thing with all the boosters and the fans and the thing. And he's saying, you want to know why the number one recruiting class got the number one recruiting class? Because their boosters and their fans showed up with money. That's what he's telling everyone, all of his Alabama constituents, that I need more money so that I can pay for guys to come to our school. That's his whole point in saying it. It's not to get under Jimbo's skin or to ruffle feathers with somebody. Like, he's saying it because he's like, hey, this is a perfect time to do it. Show them that this is the reason why we were in second, and I need you guys to pay me. This is my excuse for not winning. So I need you guys to pay me. That's his whole thing. I think Jimbo calling him out and just being like, listen, bud, I'm a good recruiter too. And it doesn't have to just be money. You can get recruits other ways. And I know that you got recruits with money. Saban's probably got some guys just without money. There's plenty of guys out there that go to college, myself included, that at the time their families don't need money. So money isn't what drives them to go to school. And I'm sure that's happened in Alabama. I'm sure, what was that center's name? Barrett Jones. I'm sure he didn't get paid to go to Alabama, but he ended up there and he had a good college career and it was fine. But I just think it's hilarious that Nick is really coming in like, what? I can't win, guys. I need your money. I need you to pay me so I can win, okay? Like, that is what makes it so funny to me.
So this could be naive of me, and this could be because I do like Saban. And I do think that was a part of it. Because it was funny when they showed it on ESPN, one of the sports center anchors was like, and he says this right after asking everybody for their money, basically like, hey, we need some money so that we can compete with Texas A&M. But in a way, like, I do think Saban speaks the truth. Like, he wasn't lying. Like, what he was saying, like, he has a little bit of that, like, I'm going to just speak how I truly feel and speak the truth. There are times that he's going out there, just like anybody is speaking and trying to persuade a situation or something in his favor. But I do think there's times where people ask him just a question in general, and I think he answers it honestly. And I think this, like, that's really how he feels. Like, I think if him and Miss Terry were sitting and having dinner, I think he's saying, yeah, like, Texas A&M bought all those guys. I don't, you know what I mean? So, and now Jimbo, I don't like Jimbo. I've already said that multiple times. My favorite thing about all this is I can't wait until the middle of the season and they're still like 8-4. and like not good. And, like,
I can't wait till they play each other.
Yeah, I can't either. I think it's like October. I think they showed it was like October, like 8th maybe, or hell, I don't remember what it was. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be incredible when they play each other. But like, that's the one thing I love about Texas A&M. They're going to get this recruiting class, and they're still not going to win a national championship. Like, they're not going to go to the college playoff. Like I told you, you picked them this past year, and I said I'm always picking Saban until someone gives me a reason not to. I'll pick him again this year. So
yeah.
And I would be even more.
Saban has to give you a reason not to, which is that's a very true statement.
Yeah. But the way Jimbo came out and attacked, like, I was just like, bro, like when I watched what Nick said, and I was like, oh, this is good, this is juicy. But I think he's right. When Jimbo was talking, I'm just like, shut up. He sounds like a bad politician, or he sounds almost like a reverend, but like that you don't believe. He's like, to think that those families, like, we're gonna buy them families. I'm like, people always say that, like, that's disrespectful, like, to them, that they can be bought.
Yeah.
That this might be just a me thing, but like, I don't care if people think that. If I'm really good at something and they're like, the Bacons, you think the Bacons can get bought? I'm like, hell yeah. I was like, you ain't buying me, but I can promise you, if I'm damn good at playing football and you want to give me $500,000 to come to your school,
yeah,
I'm going to come to your school. I'm picking the school that I want to pick, regardless. If you're good enough, any of them are going to give you money. So, like, I just think he's like Saban's just out here disrespecting these families, and he's like, they're disrespecting me. Like, I don't do that. And it's just like, I can't wait for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now, and it comes out that Jimbo is a cheater. Like, yeah. I believe all these guys are cheaters. Like, I just think they all, especially before NIL came out, like, I think they're all cheaters. So, like, when they say that, whether they are or not, like, you don't get the benefit of the doubt from me because of the profession that you're in.
Yeah, I think him coming out with, like, the family and the players, like, these players deserve more respect. How dare you drag their names through the mud? Like, yeah, that part of it is very much like Southern governor running for his spot, or like a mayor running for his spot.
It's like,
and like, I care about every single family in this town. Betty Lou, you remember last summer when I helped you take down that fence? Like,
hey, remember in campaigns, that guy from Nashville's like, and you better bring your brooms because Washington's a meth, people. And he's like, Marty Huggins is going to win this election.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah. So, but let me say this. I don't care enough. Like, you know me, like, I try to be a good person, a good Christian. So I'm not being judgmental really to these coaches. It's more of a joking thing. Like, I don't believe them because it's like a stripper. If you're a college coach, there's some good ones in there and some different, but it's like if you're a stripper and you're like, well, I'm not a hoe. It's like, well, I'm not a hoe. It's like, okay, like, whatever, but like, you're in the college profession, like, you're in the stripping profession. You see what I'm saying? Like,
you're pretty close.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
there's a fine line.
Yeah. So it's like Jimbo coming out and saying that. And I just thought the way he looked and like acting like, and then, I think a lot of people love that he was like calling Saban out. He's like, y'all think Saban's the god. He's like, of course. Y'all, why don't y'all go find out what he's been doing? It's like, okay, big dog. Like, if you want to say it, what's he been doing? Come out and say it. Like, if you got some real examples, say something. Tell the NCAA, like, you worked for him. Like, what do you mean? Like, let's just go ahead and, if that's me and I'm sitting up there, like, just go ahead and say it.
Say it.
If you got something to say it.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people love that too because everyone views Saban. I mean, he is like the greatest college coach ever, and it views him as untouchable, as this God figure that Jimbo brought up. And it's like nice to see someone, and even though like I don't really like Jimbo either, someone to step up and just be like, F you. Like, I'm gonna have a press conference just so that I can respond and tell you to shut up. Like, that's what Jimbo did. And I respect that out of Jimbo because Saban is seen as like that untouchable guy.
He was doing that press conference to defend, because he said, it's embarrassing to have to do this press conference to defend myself and my school and this recruiting class and all that. But like, Yeah, it's just two clowns, man. But like, well, I mean, like I said, I don't think so. Like, I can't stand the stuff where sports fans, aka short for fanatics, and you put these people up on pedestals. Like, I really like Josh Heupel, but that doesn't mean that like I'm gonna like close an eye to like if he gets in trouble for like a DUI or like, you know, doing something serious. Like, that's not me. Like, that's why I will, and I smile because it used to piss me off. I remember being in college, Kyler, when all that Jerry Sandusky and Bobby or in Coach Petrino stuff was coming out, or Paterno.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joe Paterno. And I remember watching it, and there were cameras of all these college students and middle-aged student or college students or middle-aged people or older people standing outside of that stadium protecting his statue from being taken down. And it just like, it always hit me. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? He's a football coach. Like, and I get it. Maybe he impacted a lot of lives in the positive, and he did a lot for that community and that school. But like, he also allowed child rape going on.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you fucking people? Like,
yeah. Where's the priorities?
Who cares about football? So like, that's my thing. Like, that's why I say that to say, like, I know people call Saban like he's untouchable in Bama, but that's just embarrassing for people who put them on that pedestal. Literally, like, if you're an Alabama fan or a Tennessee fan or anything, and you act like the college football coach is like the most important thing, like that's on you. Like, that's that you need to go check yourself and figure out what priorities you have in real, you know, in your life. But yeah, so I don't like that people look at Saban that way. And, you know, I wish Jimbo would have come out and said, hey, these are some stuff that I know. Because he said, go check in on it. Like, I don't know who can check in on it. The NCAA maybe? Like, you know, I don't know. But, like, why don't you just tell them what you know?
Yeah, this feels the way he was like, go ask those assistant coaches he's had and see what they say and see what kind of stuff they had to do. Like, I feel like some of the assistant coaches he's had, which has been, I mean, half of the SEC head coaches now, have shared stories and been like, yeah, I went to this guy's house and I gave him a load of cash, or like, I did this for this guy, and it was obviously a recruiting violation. I think that has just been spread throughout. And I think you're right in the fact that it's like, hey, if you're going to step up and say something like that, then back it up. Show him something. I mean, he was coaching with them at LSU. Like, you're telling me this guy didn't do it at LSU, but just all of a sudden started at Alabama? Like, no.
Well, the reason they can't say it is because if they were there. Like, if you're telling on him, you're basically telling on yourself, or you're telling on yourself because you do it when you leave. Like, when Pruitt saw what he was doing, and then Pruitt cheats at UT. Kirby saw what he was doing, and then they all cheat. That's what I'm saying. Like, they all cheat. So like, that's like calling the kettle black. You know, the pot calling the kettle black. Like, if Jimbo's saying it, like, bro, Jimbo, you do it too, probably. Like, you all saw him doing it, and then you all take it to your schools and do it. Yeah,
I mean, even if, and this is a huge if, he hasn't done that kind of stuff at Texas A&M, I mean, he definitely did at Florida State.
Sure, like, absolutely.
Definitely. Like, if you got this class under everything legal because you have NIL now and all that, like, great, but you've been a head coach for a lot longer than this past year. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you haven't dabbled in a little bit of fine line when it comes to NCAA rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so I do want to talk about the possible pods in the SEC. It kind of goes along with what we're talking about. There's been like a rule by the NCAA that's like anybody can change the way they want to do it, any conference, and say their best two winning percentages teams get to the championship. So making it to where the SEC, Greg Sankey, if he wanted to, this is all up in the air, could have Bama and LSU in an SEC championship because they have the best winning percentages. I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll want the two. I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't do that if I was him. But now there's, with Texas and Oklahoma coming in, a pod theory instead of a division how would you feel about the pod? So it would be 4 pods of 4 teams. You play every team in your pod, and then I think you play 3 or 4 teams outside of your pod, and possible like rivals that you would. I don't know if I like it because I think there's the small rivals that you've had for so long that kind of get taken away from you. But like an example, so I mean, you pull up like any article, they're going to have different examples of different pods. But one that I pulled up today said that like one pod would be Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina. Another one, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Another one, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and then Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma. So it's almost divided by location. The Texas A&M is and Arkansas are a little off, but I just don't want to get separated from having that game every year versus Florida and having that game every year versus Georgia and having a game every year versus Kentucky. Like I don't want to get separated away from that. So I feel like the division is a better setup, but it also depends on like what teams get paired with you in the pod. And if you're guaranteed, like if Alabama's not in our pod, are we guaranteed to play them every year? Like, do we still get that? Or is it changed and adjusted? I don't know. That's why it's kind of fun to talk about, because it's like it could be so many different avenues that we can go down.
So I don't really want the pods to change. I mean, I don't really want to go to pods. Like, I like the divisions because hear me out. It's easier for Tennessee to make it to the SEC championship in our division now than if you just take the 2 as high in winning percentages in the SEC. Because now all we have to worry about is Georgia and Florida. That's it. Those are the 2 that we worry about.
Yep.
If we do highest winning percentages, then you're going to add in Bama, Texas A&M, LSU, Arkansas, Auburn,
Oklahoma and Texas are going to get added in there.
Oklahoma, Texas, Auburn. Like, that would be an absolute bloodbath to get to the. So I'm like, now, say if you kept the East West and added Texas, or not, you could. So say if you add Oklahoma to us and Texas to the other one, then we worry about Oklahoma, Georgia, and Florida. And like, I would rather worry about that than like, I mean, the highest winning percentages, I mean, holy hell, it would hurt Bama. I mean, it would hurt all of them. I mean, just because it would be so hard to make it because everybody's in there. I mean, there would have been plenty of years that the largest cocktail party of Florida and Bama, there would have been a rematch. The LSU Alabama would have been a rematch in the SEC championship. Like,
you mean Florida, Georgia?
Florida, Georgia for largest cocktail. Hell, they could have played again. That's what. What I was saying is the largest cocktail party, Florida and Georgia, they could have that game and then see each other again December 5th. Alabama and Auburn could play each other and then play 2 weeks later. Then you got, like I said, Georgia or LSU and Bama play that game and then play again. So it's just like, I just think it would be, I like the divisions. I mean, granted, I'd love not to have to play Alabama every year. I mean, it's just, for 20 years now, it's just been a loss. I mean,
that's true. I don't know about that. Like, I see where you're coming from. I see why. It's like Alabama's the best and it's very hard to beat them. But there's still like the pride in me where it's like, I still want that rivalry to keep living on. I still want that.
Yeah, but you can do it every other year. It doesn't have to be every year. I mean,
I still want there to be like the 3rd Saturday in October, and I want us to get back on top. Like, I don't want to leave while they've been winning the entire time. It looks like we're pussies for backing out. Like, I'd rather it be a little flip before we,
Yeah, so we beat them this year. And then we got a 1-0 winning record.
Yeah, and then it was they're afraid for the next, generation of Tennessee dominance. That's why they backed out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the pods would be neat, but I just think it would make it an absolute war zone.
I agree with you. I think I don't know how they would do it, like if who you would play across pods, but yeah, highest winning percentage out of, I mean, you could just list off the teams. Like, it's just, when you think about that in say 5-10 years ago, of like, okay, the highest winning percentage of LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, the highest winning percentage of those plus 6 others, it's like that's who goes to the SEC championship, not the national, the SEC championship. People have been like, what? That's going to be insane, that conference.
Yeah, and then you got Ohio State always dominating the Big Ten, so they're going to be in the playoff. You got Clemson or some other loser ACC team, and then, you know, if USC comes back with, I mean, all the other schools would be so easy to get there.
So easy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Look, nipples out for Naples.
You said you're going to do it. Must be about 66 in that.
Yo, you know, I keep my rooms cold, baby.
Popping out.
Yeah. So I'm good. I like the divisions.
Yeah, I do too. Okay. Next topic. Josiah Jordan James coming back. He has decided to spend another year with Rick Barnes and this team. Are you excited, elated, kind of so, kind of disappointed? Where are you at on the spectrum?
I'm normal because I knew he wasn't going anywhere. So it was.
You were confident in the fact that he wasn't going to leave.
Yeah, I mean, if it came out that he was leaving, I would be pretty shocked. I'd be like, wow, that sucks for our team, and B, that probably sucks for him because he's going to be playing overseas. He's not getting drafted. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that news was waste of a tweet that someone sent out.
I think it was a relief tweet, not necessarily like an elation.
You didn't think that he was going?
Yes, I understand. I didn't think he was going. I didn't think he should go. But sometimes people make stupid decisions, and it makes you feel better to where it's like, thank God you didn't freaking do that. Like that would have been the dumbest thing in the world. Like you said, he would have been overseas playing. He never would have like really got a high draft pick or anything like that. It would have been very difficult for him to play in the NBA. And it's just like, bro, come back, make yourself better, make the team better. Like, you're on an upward trajectory. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Take advantage of NIL, stay with us. But like, sometimes people make stupid decisions. So that's where I came from. Is like, whew, okay, he didn't do the wrong thing. He didn't like have someone in his ear saying that he, should go, and like that's what you should do, and you're going to get drafted, you're going to be awesome, you'll get more money. Like, don't listen to those people. They're leading you astray.
Yeah, I'm not wasting more time on it. I knew he wasn't going anywhere. So
okay, good.
But yeah, good thing he wasn't an idiot. Lastly, wow, what a baseball regular season. Wink, wink, see what I did there? But incredible. I mean, 27 points, 27 runs, 27 on a scoreboard in freaking baseball. And I'm like, WTF. I love it. I love it. I loved it. We went down there and swept them. And you know what? My dad and I were talking when I was driving yesterday, and we were talking about the Friday game on Saturday. I was like, you know what? Kudos on Mississippi State to come back and fight their little nub bulldog tails off. Because, hey, like, they're a very, very good baseball program. And so it's like they got a lot of pride. They won
the national championship last year.
They just got stomped, and they're coming back, and they had a really close game. So I give them a lot of kudos. But when you're the best, you show why you're the best. And we won. I don't care.
27-2.
I don't care if it's a 1-point game. We won the game. And then after we said, hey, Mississippi State, good try, good job, we won the series, and then we came back on Saturday and swept them. We're like, all right, we'll see you later. We got tournaments to get ready for. So I loved it. Incredible.
Sweep to go into the tournament. Literally, like, I really want to look and see, because I didn't necessarily see this, but like, what's the record for most runs in a game in like Tennessee, SEC, NCAA?
I'm not
Because
sure. Yeah.
27 is ridiculous.
It's crazy, bro. Crazy.
I mean, 7 in the 7th inning is like, I can't imagine the thoughts that are going through the team, like Mississippi State's mind and like the pitcher's head of, oh my gosh, like this is never ending. Like, I just want to get out of here. This is ridiculous.
If I was supposed to pitch, like, Thursday, you don't know that's going to happen. But if I'm supposed to pitch Friday, I'm like waking up with like a bellyache or something. I'm like, Coach, I ain't got it today. Sorry.
I'd be freaking out. So yeah, I'm so excited
I'll be super locked in, man, for this SEC and for Omaha.
I know. I'm really wondering when they because I haven't really like looked it up, but like when they release like the seating and like who is where and like where everybody's going to be placed and how like it's going to progress. I'm very excited for that, which will probably get released before this podcast does, because that's how things work out.
Right.
But like you said, I'm very excited for SEC tournament play, and seeing those guys. It's just like a different feeling once it's on that stage,
It's when we got and I shouldn't have said SEC and then Omaha. I should have said SEC and then regional, super regionals, all that stuff. It confuses me, but I'm gonna be locked in because I'm gonna be nervous little boy with a tight little butt, until we make it to Omaha. So,
very tight.
Yeah, even tighter than that. I just hate that. It makes me nervous, and I hope they don't feel nervous or feel the pressure. It just stinks because in these tournaments, these other schools are going to be coming in knowing they got nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like they've been number one for so long. Every other team is like, this is it. Like, this is the team. Like, they are, the New England Patriots of, that 20-year run. It was like, this is the team you have to take down if you want to beat anything, or like, so they're going to get people's best. I think, like, teams that might be on their last win, like if it's double elimination in some instances, which I think it is, like they're putting in their best pitcher. They're giving it their best lineup. They're and to try and play multiple teams back to back like that, it's not going to be easy. Like like our schedule hasn't been easy to, we still played Arkansas. We still played Vanderbilt. We still played Ole Miss. Like, we had to go through those teams. We went through the reigning national champs and Mississippi State, even though they're a little worse for wear at this point. But like, this is totally different. This is the best teams over and over. You don't get those midweek games where they're kind of a break or whatever. Like, this is a lot more serious in that fashion. So I'm excited to see what these guys can do. I mean, I want Evan Russell.
I'm nervous for him because I know there's a lot. And I hope they're not putting pressure on themselves, but as an athlete, like, I can't imagine being in their shoes being like, I mean, if I'm them, I'm probably just confident as hell. Like, I'm like, all right, this is what we do. Let's go do it. So I'm probably not that nervous, but like, it's tough because you don't want to have such a good year and then not end up winning at all.
Yeah. And then definitely want to call out Evan Russell tying the Tennessee record for all-time home runs, which I think was Helton before. So that just like is a little cherry on top to the season of being like, remember when we were really good at baseball and Todd Helton was there and we had really good players? Like, now we're back, like full circle. Like, now we got another Todd Helton out here that's hitting bombs like crazy. It's almost like a good omen leading into the off season, the postseason is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, postseason.
Yeah. So shout out Evan Russell for being a complete badass.
Seriously though, huge, man, huge.
All right, I think that was a good podcast.
Good pod.
Not too long, not too short. Covered everything gossipy everybody wants to hear about. I spilled beer. Reed showed his nipples. I mean, you can't get much better than that. All right, guys. I very much appreciate you watching and listening. If you are watching, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Please comment anything you have to say. We love to respond to the comments. If you're listening, please rate, follow, download. All of those things help so much. And as always, share with all your friends and family. Tell them what we got going on. Follow us on social media @BelieveInTennessee for our Twitter and our main account. @Kyler Curvison, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for me. @RBacon26 for Reed on Twitter. And you can contact us. We have a phone number, 865-322-9232, and an email, bleavintennesseefootball@gmail.com. So feel free to reach out there too. You can always, reach out social media, comment on the YouTube, or do it that way, anonymous. Either way, we love interacting with you guys. We always appreciate you. And as always, go Vols.